All right, Shalom. Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. All right, double honors to the apostles and elders at GMS. Peace, honor, and respect to you brothers that's out there laboring, edifying, rightly divine the word, and truth and sincerity. And shalom to you believers out there. And real quick, somewhat breaking news, Russia Annex 4 Ukrainian regions, all right? And that's Luhansk, Kherson, Kaporiza, and Donetsk. But I want to show this video real quick, because Isaiah 13:17, it says, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them." All right, so the Lord is putting the spirit on, Putin, Russia, which when you go into that verse 17, that's talking about Russia today. Okay, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. All right. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, so because wait, let me real quick before I get this too. When you go to bear with me 1 second. Bear with me 1 second. Is that 34? There's a couple scriptures coming to mind. Let me see something real fast. Oh no, I don't want to get that right now. That's jumping the gun. All right, so when you that might be in 30. Yeah, Isaiah 34, come near, ye nations, to hear and hearken, ye people, let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He have utterly destroyed them. He have delivered them to the slaughter. Okay. The Lord is putting the spirit, okay, on these nations to ultimately go to war. Because in what it talks about in Joel, the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh has judged, okay? And see, the Lord is, because you got to think, all right, it's a couple things going on that's going to, that's intensifying right now. You have the Nord Stream, which was sabotaged, okay? Now, if Russia did it, okay, they ultimately trying to, black out Europe, basically. All right. But if America did it, all right, and it comes out that they did it, now that's, hey, they sabotaged it. That's basically, a hit on Russia. Okay. Now you got Putin, who just annexed 4 regions in Ukraine. All right. The West saying they don't, they're basically not respecting that. All right. But guess what? If they bring their monkey ass up in there, excuse my language, then, Russia will take force. And I don't believe that Putin is bluffing. All right. He said he'll use. Now, he even told Ukraine, like, if you come up in there, we going to use all strength, okay, to protect. Because now see, the West is saying, like, no, this is, what's the word they use? Oh, man. This is basically that, it's illegal. All right, but when you think about it, when the United States, the Americas was annexed from the Indians, from the natives, so called. I mean, not so called. The so called Indians, but Gad now. You know, where California and Arizona and Texas and all that territory, a lot of that territory was Mexico before. So, Esau Edom, the American white male, all right, has taken over territories and did things, but I ain't taking enough for Putin because he's an Edomite as well. He's gonna get it as well. All of these Edomites gonna get it. So we not rooting for them. We just speaking the facts. So over here in the West, they can annex and do what they do, and it's supposed to be respected. But when somebody else do something, then they don't respect it. That's the hypocrisy. All right, because you gotta think about it. America was stolen. That was stolen land. All right. So Russia, they went up in there. They took those 4 regions. They had a vote. Those leaders of those regions voted to be a part of Russia. So now Putin not caring about what the West is talking about. He's going if they bring and they know not to be tiptoeing around in there. You see what I'm saying? They know, but they know they not gonna come over there and be like, no, we don't. We respect this as Ukraine, so we not can. No, they know if they go over there in them regions right now, as of today, that Putin will, if necessary, use nuclear weapons. Now, continuing on to Isaiah 34. Matter of fact, hold on. Bear with me 1 second. Oh man, that might be 13. Salakia, y'all. It's a lot that's coming to Yep. So I really want to get Isaiah 13. And starting at the top, it says, the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. Okay. Verse 4, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. All right. So the point was in verse 4, okay? The Lord of hosts, Sabaoth, all right, the Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. So this is the Lord stirring the pot even more. Okay, when you have a pipeline that belongs to Russia been sabotaged, okay, and all fingers is pointing at America, at the West, at America, okay, and see, another point I want to make is, Germany, some of their people have been pointing blame, and guess what? And that's gonna go to matter of fact, let's get it. That's going to point to Revelation 17. All right. When you go to Revelation 17, it's like in 16, it says, and the 10 horns, okay, them 10 horns was representing the original 10 European Union nations, okay? And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. See? And this is going to stir that pot, because if it comes out, because you got, this is the beginning of all of this. So later on, it's going to be more reports coming out of what's going on with that pipeline. There's going to be more things happening with Putin annexing these 4 regions. All right. It's not just going to be news today and then it die out. No, it's going to be things that's going to take place that is going to be coming into news, coming into fruition. All right. But this is the Lord. Okay. Back in Isaiah 13, he's mustering the hosts. Okay. He's stirring the pot. He's putting the spirit on everybody to do what they got to do. Because at the end of the day, our Lord is coming to conquer, starting with Esau, Edom, and the rest of these nations. He's going to conquer all of them. That's why it says what? He wore many crowns. Okay? Because he's going to take down all America, Russia, Saudi Arabia, China, everybody's getting took down. All right. And he's going to wear all of those crowns. Okay. And that's where our liberation is coming from. Our Lord Yahweh Shah. Okay. From under the thumb of Esau, Edom, and the rest of these nations who basically trample over Israel. See? Because a part of this is the Lord fighting on our behalf. He's our redeemer. All right. What the hell, Putin? Who they got to be redeemed from? Who Xi Jinping got to be redeemed from? All right. No, they have nothing to do with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah as far as on a salvation level. Now they do got something to do with them on a fulfilling prophecy. Okay. Doing the bidding. All right. And to be took down to show so the Lord can show his power. Okay. Which all of these heathen nations, all of these nations with these weapons is they light work for Yahweh Shah and the angels. It's light work. It's a snap of the finger, really. Okay. But it's going to be reports that's going to be coming out and things coming. So the pipeline, that's stirring up one thing. Then Russia doing what they doing, that's stirring up another thing. Okay. And then you have like these European nations. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm glad. I was about to forget it. When you go to Obadiah 1 and 7, it says, I'm gonna start at 6. It says, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee, that they eat thy bread they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. So all of these nations that was confederate with the Americas, they're gonna turn on them. All right, going back to Revelation 17. Okay. And see, like I said, you have, this pipeline thing where all the fingers is pointing at America. Best believe Germany and all of those European countries, they're not going to take that lightly, when they depend on that pipeline from Russia. All right. And then Russia could take it as, okay, you sabotaged our pipeline. All right. But I was listening to the brother from the Dallas camp, Ariala. He was going into from GMS Dallas. He was going into how he believed that the elites of Russia and the elites of the U.S. they coercing together to do these things, which could be true because once you get to the tippy top, all right, the elites are in confederates. They working together. They're in confederacy with each other. All right, because you have like Biden and Putin and all of these presidents and vice presidents. They're low. They're under them. They're not in the know of everything. All right, they're basically puppets. All right, the elites that's behind the shadow government that's behind them are working together, and they're not keeping. They're telling them certain things, but they're not telling them certain things. All right, so that's how it goes down. And this will lead to World War III. All right, World War III is biblical and it's inevitable. Now, when I was in Isaiah 34, all right, let me see. if I want to get. Matter of fact, Isaiah 9:5, it says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood." Because, in antiquity, you had swords and things of that nature, horses on the battlefield, taking place. And that's why, it had all that loud, thunderous noise and garments rolled in blood. You had men out there laid out on the battlefield, due to, that more hand-to-hand combat. Okay, which war is still loud, but it's fought a little bit different. All right, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire, right? Because, even now you got missiles and guns and tanks and things of that nature that you didn't have in antiquity. Okay, and now you have ICBMs, all right? Intercontinental ballistic missiles, all right? Missiles, which this will lead to, all right? It's inevitable. This is what it's talking about right here. This shall be with burning and fuel of fire, all right? And you have the Lord that's stirring the pot, and it's going to be more things to come, okay? This ain't the only little things that's going to be happening, all right? It's going to be more to come. But plus, it's going to be more light shed on the stories of this pipeline, far as the annexing of these 4 regions. Okay, you're going to have things that's going to come out. You might have things that transpire that the West might do out of spite and things of that nature to invoke Russia. Okay, but ultimately, hey, it's going down, man. Matter of fact, I'm going to just get the vid now. So let me just play some of this vid. All right, you see Russian annexes 4 Ukrainian regions, man. Okay.
There it is, the photo opportunity and the signing of the documents. President Putin.
You see, there go the regions right there. So, now Ukraine is basically that light orange, and now that dark orange is Russia. All right. And no matter what the West say or anybody say, best believe Putin, he's gonna count that as Russia. He's not gonna care. So if anybody start tiptoeing around there, then he's gonna use his military might to protect his area. All right.
Just signed documents to incorporate territories of Ukraine into the Russian Federation in this televised ceremony.
And there are the leaders of those nations right there. You got 2 on one side, 2 on the other side. You see the flags behind there, and then you see the Russian flag far off to the right. All right. So you got to respect it. All right.
The Moscow-appointed authorities in the 4 regions of Lugansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson. They've just signed the treaties, and President Putin has effectively absorbed these Ukrainian regions into the Russian Federation. Let's once again bring in Patrick Burry. He's the defense and security analyst at the University of Bath, joining us again from Bath in the United Kingdom. So, Patrick Burry, we were just witnessing the signing ceremony. And before we broke away, you were saying that while Putin was speaking, there was nothing really threatening in what he had to say.
So, there you see. All right. Matter of fact, I'll keep playing.
But from a security point of view, he did say that we will work to increase security in these new 4 regions. What do you read into that statement? What does he mean by that?
Darren, and just to clarify, what I was saying was that, in terms of the threats and that he'd made before regarding these territories and them coming under Russia's nuclear umbrella.
I'm going to go to another vid from Redacted, but what they're going to be shouting is Russia. All right. You see, they're in confederacy with one another. All right. These are the leaders of those 4 regions. Okay. And they're in agreement.
Nothing new in terms of there was
now whether they fully wanted to do it or was kind of forced. Hey, that's neither here nor there. I mean, a part of war is, you can read about wars and watch history about wars, and every time in war, even in the scriptures, even in the Apocrypha, if you read about certain wars, men went in, they took the town, and you had certain kings that would be, they would surrender, basically, wave that right flag and say, hey, we will be, under your rulership, basically a vassal state or whatever. Okay. So in war, this happens all the time. Men go to war, somebody wins, somebody lose. The leader of that nation, if they don't get, killed, they might, drop their sword down, say, look, all right, we surrender, you got it. And then they come to a certain agreement. All right. That's part of war. So for the West to say, well, it's illegal, they held a voting, all right, and things of that nature. Now I don't know the technicalities of why they saying it's illegal, but I know in war, when you go in and you win a certain territory, no matter what, if your leader say, look, I surrender, and then he hit the leader of that region, come to an agreement with the leader of the opposing force, and they make an agreement and say, all right, now you are part of us. We will protect you. This is what I require and things of that nature. Well, guess what? You ultimately have to respect it, because best believe, the U.S. is not just going to go in these regions and, just treat it as Ukraine. No, they're going to know full well that Putin is not bluffing. All right.
Ultimatum to Ukraine, for example, to stop attacking them. As far as we know from the translation we've just had, there was no telling Ukraine to get out of these oblasts, their armed forces. He did refer to them as terrorists and rebels, mind you. So the security implications now are, what does Ukraine do in these oblasts? Do they keep attacking? And then, and I'd imagine they will in the short term. And how does Russia respond? There was no specific mention, as far as I'm aware, of a nuclear escalation of any kind in that speech. There has been before. So in that way, in terms of managing the nuclear escalation risks, which a lot of us have been wondering and worrying about, let's be honest, it hasn't gone any further than what we already were, and that's a bit of a relief. I think my general takeaway on this speech actually is that it was more aimed at the global audience, aimed at the audience in the Middle East. Putin was speaking like he was addressing the United Nations. The audiences in the Middle East, South America, China, India, basically saying, look, this is a clash of ideas in his view. Talked about sovereignty, talked about colonialism, and he's appealing to basically everybody to try to exclude, that he pointed out, the UK and the US and their basically aggression on him. Now, for the global audience, there's a lot of pot kettle black there. The West has made mistakes, does make mistakes. No one's perfect, but so is Russia.
Right.
That needs to be pointed out too.
Right. And how do you read the message to Kyiv? Because
Putin pointing out all the flaws of America, which they don't like to hear. All right, America is akin to a woman who when you call her out on her faults, then she point back to you. All right, because again, like I said earlier, when you go into America history, it was annexed by the natives. All right, it's stolen land, so they have no moral right, which I think he mentioned. All right. They have no moral right to talk about what's going on. All right. They went to war. They took the territory. They voted on it. The leaders bowed down. It's their territory now. All right. That's a part of war. Now, when you go to, I want to get this.
They should call it the Losers Project.
The Lincoln Project. Who are you?
This war.
Something else just happened too.
Hey everyone, Clayton here. I wanted to get this emergency video out. Last night on last night's show, we talked about within 24 hours, everything was going to change, and it looks like it has. And so there are a couple of big pieces of news breaking this afternoon that I wanted to bring to you and try to provide some context for them. First, on the Russian side. Of course, last night, as we reported, President Putin of Russia was going to be meeting with the leaders of the 4 regions of the Donbass to officially sign joining the Russian Federation. That happened this afternoon, and President Putin then delivered remarks saying now would be a time for Ukraine to stop attacking. If they continue to attack, we will use the full weight of the Russian armed forces to retaliate. So he's calling on Kiev right now to stop any aggression in the Donbas region. Take a listen.
And the Kiev authorities, they should see this expression of will with respect. And that's the only way we can reach a peaceful solution. We will protect our lands with every means we have at our disposal. And we will do everything to provide safety for our people. This is the great liberating mission of our people.
So, of course, all four leaders were there. They then, at the end of the speech, got together on stage, put their hands together, shook, and they all started chanting, Russia, Russia, Russia. Watch.
You see?
So that's on the Russian side. There were other couple of really interesting moments during this speech from President Putin, specifically blaming the West for the attacks on the Nord Stream pipelines, saying that they were absolutely responsible for it. Also saying he is now open to talks, open to peace talks. Now that these four regions are under Russian control, now would be a good time probably to stop this war. Very interesting on the Ukrainian side. And this is the main reason for doing this video this afternoon, is because moments ago, Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, held a signing ceremony, a sudden and unexpected signing ceremony.
Ми робимо свій визначальний крок, підписуючи.
Now, what is it saying? We take our decisive step by signing Ukraine's application.
Заявку України на вступ у пришвидшеному порядку в НАТО.
See?
Підписуючи заявку України на вступ.
All right, this is what for accelerated accession to NATO. All right, so now you have Zelensky, who's fast tracking his application basically to NATO, which, you know, I think that'd be DOA. You know.
У пришвидшеному порядку в НАТО.
That is a stunning moment. That is absolutely what President Putin said would not be allowed to happen. NATO advancement right on the doorstep of Russia. This is a moment that is begging for nuclear war. This is a moment begging for World War III.
So
I think we are watching.
Anytime, you know, you got somebody want to get in NATO, you know, because I was watching this.
Expertise matters, but so do results. Our law firm's on pace to settle
This
more
guy
than
right here.
It's just
NATO
announced
chief.
today more support.
All right, and I want you to hear.
And I spoke also with all the leaders over the last few days. And
So of course, to join NATO, everybody has to basically agree upon it. All right. So let's just, you know, this is the NATO chief. I forgot his name. It might show it. Jens Stoltenberg. All right. So you see the title. NATO chief speaks at the Ukraine fast-track NATO application. Let's hear this real quick.
Fighting, it will cease to exist as an independent sovereign nation in Europe. NATO reaffirms our unwavering support for Ukraine's independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. We remain resolute in providing support to Ukraine as it continues to defend itself against Russia's aggression, for as long as it takes. And with that, I'm ready to take your questions.
And we'll have time for just a couple of questions. We'll start with the news agency of Ukraine. Thank you for the floor. National News Agency of Ukraine, Dmytro Shkurko. We in Ukraine have no doubt will prevail and liberate our territories. But a few hours ago, Ukrainian leadership showed us the possible way out of this bloody war and officially applied to NATO membership. My question is, NATO ready to consider that kind of applications? And the second part of the question, is it possible to consider the speedy procedure for that kind of membership, like it was done for Sweden and Finland? Thank you so much.
Every democracy in Europe has the right to apply for NATO membership, and NATO allies respect that right. And we have stated again and again that NATO's door remains open, and we have demonstrated that over the last years. NATO allies, when they met at the NATO summit in Madrid, stated also very clearly that we support Ukraine's right to choose its own path, to decide what kind of security arrangements it wants to be part of. Then a decision on membership, of course, has to be taken by all 30 allies, and we take these decisions by consensus. Our focus now is on providing immediate support to Ukraine to help Ukraine defend itself against the Russian brutal invasion, and then that's the main focus and the main effort of NATO allies as we speak.
Associated Press.
You hear?
Yes, Secretary General, the war seems to have taken on a new dimension today, with both President Zelensky and President Putin taking fairly big steps. I wonder, now that President Putin's annexed these parts of Ukraine, and he's threatened to use nuclear weapons as well, would you call for calm? Would you advise President Zelensky to perhaps stay away from the region? How would NATO deal with this as well from the outside? Thank you.
We call on President Putin to end the war. He is responsible for starting the war, and he has the responsibility to end the war. Because if Russia stops fighting, there will be peace. If Zelensky and the Ukrainians stop fighting, Ukraine will cease to exist as an independent nation. So not speaking about, in a way, two equals. We have an aggressor, Russia, and we have a country which is the victim of aggression, Ukraine. And that's also the reason why we are so clearly supporting Ukraine. The illegal annexations of Ukrainian territory doesn't change the nature of this war. It remains a war of aggression by Russia against Ukraine. And of course...
So you heard what he said. He said, you know, it's on the aggressive. Basically, if, you know, Ukraine was to chill, Russia just keep coming west. And then, but if Russia chill, then it would end the war, which it got some validity to it, okay? But nonetheless, again, the Lord is stirring this all up, man. All of this is just edging forth to a World War III, all right? Which is inevitable. It's going to happen. It's not going to be peace. No. That will make the Bible a liar, which will make the Most High a liar, which we all know the Most High is not a liar. Okay? So I just wanted to bring this to, you know, you brothers and sisters' attention out there. It's starting to heat up, man. Joel 2. All right. Starting at the top, blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There have not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the top of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. All right. Before their face, the people shall be much pain. All faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. See? And this is going into those missiles, man. And they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks, man. Because when those missiles are shot, none of the missiles gonna be duds. None of them is gonna bump into another missile and blow up. No, they're gonna hit every target. Everything is gonna be on point. Cause see, the Spirit of the Lord is gonna be on the missiles, man, to hit every place where they're supposed to hit and destroy every inch of territory that those missiles are supposed to destroy. All right. See? Neither shall one, verse 8, neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. See? They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. See? And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide in it? No one, save the elect. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. So I just wanted to bring that out. Things are, the Lord keep moving the chess pieces, keep stirring the pot. There's going to be more things to come, so, hey. We living in exciting but yet still dangerous times. Just put some repentance, everybody. Hey, let's pray more. Let's be more obedient. Let's do, the things that we need to be doing. Focus on what we need to be focused on. That's what I pray for, every day. And Lord willing, this was edifying. To the next lesson. Shalom.